Hey guys, this is Builder, and this is a video of my game with me and Laserhawk versus Redrum and Cerrone PL. So we found our cities. We drafted civs this game. Neither me or Redrum are particularly good at drafting. We haven't really had that much experience in it, and so I kind of get lucky and am able to snag England. And England is really strong once you get to the Longbowmen, and hopefully we will be able to finish the game out with the Longbowmen. Also on our team we have Greece, which will give us a nice companion cavalry, which will eat up units if we have some nice open terrain. They are Persia and Egypt, so Egypt will be able to get the Great Library quickly. They also get the extra happiness from the burial tombs, and just, in general, they get the extra wonder production. Red Rum is Persia, and their big bonus is the Golden Age, special Golden Ages. They get +1 moves during Golden Age, and they also get +10% combat strength, but the big bonus is the extra moves. So if you can time a Golden Age with a rush of units, it can be super effective. It's kind of difficult to use in some ways because the natural golden ages we get in the games don't happen that often because we're trying to expand. Because if you have a ton of extra happiness to build up your golden age bucket, it means that you could have another city out and still be growing. So optimally you would have like 1 happiness the whole game, so you're growing and expanding, or maybe even less if you want to expand more quickly. Which means that you wouldn't be filling your golden age counter very quickly. The Golden Age counter, if you can see, it's just to the left of my 5 happiness right now, 20 out of 335. You need to fill the 335 to get to the Golden Age. And so that doesn't happen that often naturally unless you're really not expanding very much. Maybe you could get it if the map was pretty small and there was a ton of luxuries, or if your partner was like Arabia or something. But it's difficult to do. Mostly your Golden Age will come from the Liberty policy. Representation, which gives you an 8-turn golden age, but because of Persia's ability, it becomes extended into a 12-turn golden age. Anyway, we're doing this pretty standard start where we both went. We researched pottery first, then animal husbandry, and then we'll go to iron working. With Laserhawk is doing something quite a bit different this game. He's just building a settler right away after getting the 2 population. Personally, I don't really like that strategy that much because I would rather wait. The granary gives you some pretty nice growth in your capital, and which allows you to have a stronger capital early on, which allows you to get early wonders. It allows you to maybe get a barracks up. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. Plus, I want to wait until I get the +50% settler production before I start building settlers. Because that's a big bonus, and I'd rather not be building settlers until I get that policy. So we're just exploring around. You don't want to get too far away from your capital so you can protect it. I'm talking with Awesome because he wants to figure out how to do a video recording. So I'm trying to talk him through it. For me, I just kind of fooled around with it until I got it to work, so it's not like I'm an expert at it or anything. And I just happen to have lucky to get a program that works and to have, a computer with a mic on it so that I can record this stuff. So I only have 1 wheat resource, so I will only grow my capital to 4 population. If I had 2 or more wheat resources, I'd want to grow it a little bit more, say maybe to 5. 6 might be a little bit much. But I don't know, if I had 3 wheat resources really near close, I might be able to pull it off, but it's tough. So I take the free worker, so my city keeps on growing. I probably could have pulled off a free settler, but at that point, but I like the free worker. So I talked to Laserhawk and we decided we'd try to use the chat to communicate at this point. But it's quite a bit of typing, and you can't like talk about quite as much as you would if you like when you are on TeamSpeak, which is the program we use. It just allows us to talk to each other instead of having to type everything out. So it's just a lot easier to use TeamSpeak because I can like mention random stuff really quickly and I don't have to type it all out. I'd say less stuff if I were not using TeamSpeak. And so I know it makes better videos to have us talking in the chat because you can see what we're saying, and but unfortunately it's just really difficult to do. So later in the video, in a couple of turns probably, we'll switch over to TeamSpeak and we'll stop using the chat. So like, you know, talking about where he founds the city takes a long time, and I would have founded the city on the hill because you get the extra hammer in your city tile, as opposed to be founding on open terrain where you get less hammers. As you can see, I build a worker at this point because it's I don't really have much else to build. I could build more scouts, but that I already have a couple of scouts already. I could build a warrior, but I can only upgrade so many units to swordsman, and I would rather have a barracks in my city once I build the warriors. And see, I'll get a warrior now, and it's oh, just kidding, I'll get a barracks. It's better to get the barracks before you build the units, obviously. If you can build either a warrior and then a barracks, or barracks and a warrior, obviously want to go the barracks and then the warrior. So it's little order things like that that can make that can really make your start more powerful. Anyway, I'll be finishing the barracks just before I get to ironworking. A little bit earlier actually than I would have liked, but a little bit later I mean than I would have liked, because my capital spot isn't that great. I just locked my city tiles down. I don't really want my city to be growing more than it is right now, so I'm taking it off kind of inefficient tiles to be working. I'm taking it off the empty grasslands and I'm putting it on the more productive gold tiles, the spices and the silk and the horses, so I can get extra hammers and gold. I'll chop some forests so that the barracks will finish earlier. I still need to figure out, I'm pretty sure that when you have the plus 50% settler production, it also applies to chops. So I should be saving chopping forests from building settlers because I'll be getting more hammers out of it. But I still haven't really like checked it for sure. I haven't like gone in and looked at the number of hammers I'd be getting because the game doesn't register them the next turn. Anyway, I moved my worker in and out of the forest right there because I wanted to wait a turn for me to get the plus 50% settler production before I chop the forest. So I hope, if what I think is true, then I gained a couple of hammers there. I found Red Rum City with my scout, so I will hover around and wait for him to, you know, get off some iron. I'm sending my settler up. I'll be settling on the hill above the sheep to the left of my settler. It'll be a nice defensive position with hills around it and mountains above and below, which will be good. They just got the Great Library, and they're going to use that on ironworking. And Red Rum actually has a warrior right there, and so I will not move my my settler yet, because as you can see right there, he just retreated. So he doesn't know I have a settler in the area, so he's gonna behave differently. Okay, so, and he's not on a hill right there, so he can't see that I have a settler. So that's good. I'm sending my worker behind because I don't have that many more tiles I really want to improve around London. In London, I want to be focusing on improving hammer tiles, and there aren't very many more hammer tiles for me to improve because the city doesn't have many hills nearby. See, I can build farms right now, which increase food, but once I'm unhappy, that's not very important. So I'll be focusing more on other stuff. So I might have been a little bit silly there going after Red Rum in his capital. With my scout, because that's pretty much a suicide maneuver right there. I'll found a city on 6 iron, so I'll be able to get 12 iron once all the iron is up, and the iron up near my capital is up. And so I go into unhappiness right there, so there's the farms are less worth, or worth less. Less worth. So right there he attacks my scout and kills me off. I take a chance and attack his warrior. It might have been a little bit safer to maybe not attack, because maybe he had an insta-heal coming or something. Although, actually, if I do the math, I know he wouldn't, because I bombarded him twice for 2 experience points, and then I attacked him for 4 experience points, so he'd be at 8, and that wouldn't be enough for an instant heal. Because if he had an instant heal, he'd be able to heal and go back and attack my warrior and take it out. Anyway, in all my cities, I'm building the monument first, because I want to get a fast Liberty finisher. So we can get to longbows as quickly as possible. We're going to want to use a great scientist on machinery so that we can get there quickly. Again, I would be improving my iron, but since I founded the city on a 6 iron, I will just use my worker to improve happiness resources to get my cities growing. So I'll be getting another settler out, you know. Once I hook up the resources, my cities become happy, which is always nice. Both of my cities are working 1 food tiles, so they'll both grow in about 10 turns. Which will, if both of them grow, they will take away the happiness. I'll go into unhappiness. So that's fine. I'm building a couple of warriors. I want to have a nice defensive wall once they come at me, because I'm not pressured. I will get my longbows and I will be able to take them out once I get them. So I don't want to risk losing an early city and have them be able to press me and maybe kill me, or kill off some cities before longbows. Maybe even kill me before longbows. So I just want to play it safe. I'll hook up another luxury, so that will cover the cost of the unhappiness to the settler I'm building right now. So I'll keep my happiness just above 0. Get the wheel. It's a nice production tech. It gives you the water mill, and as you can see, all my cities right now are on rivers, which is a nice thing if you can manage it. If there's a luxury that's outside of, that's not on a river, then you're gonna want to take that spot, a unique luxury. But otherwise, you're gonna want to found most of your cities on rivers, as it just gives you extra gold, and that in and of itself is a big bonus. And then when you add in the civil service food bonus that you get later, it's definitely a good idea to found on rivers. So I'm looking at my teammate Laser. He's building the pyramids, and his capital isn't that big. So I think I'd tell him to switch off of it because I can get it in just as many turns, and he needs to build some more stuff in his capital because it's not that big right now. He doesn't even have a granary yet. So he already has a couple of workers. I mean, he could probably use it a little bit more than I could because he has more cities. Although I'm going to found another city to tie us up in city count. Right now I'm just kind of scouting out with my units. That scout right there next to the Egyptian swordsman is kind of a taunting unit. If he attacks it and kills it, then I'll be able to take him out with my swordsman. He can't see my swordsman. And he's about to found a city. So yeah, and he had already moved. He had moved last turn, so he was able to found the city. And I kind of drop what I'm doing and head for Susa because it doesn't have much military around it. As far as I can tell, it only had a warrior on it, and he upgrades it to a sword. But I'll be able to send 3 swords at the city, the 2 I have right now, and then the 1 upgraded warrior. And so, always fortify your units at the beginning of the turn, so that any attack they do at you while you're kind of doing other stuff suffers, so you get a bonus against their defense. You get a bonus against their defense. You get a defensive bonus when they attack you, is what I want to say. Again, I managed my workers so that they weren't in my capital, so that they weren't working bad tiles. They were working all the good gold tiles. I'm looking at army numbers, and I see that I have a large army right now. So that means that I don't have to be too afraid of them attacking me. As you can see right there, he kills me off, but I have another swordsman backing it up. And so he had 1 swordsman and I had 3, and now he has no swordsman and I have 2. So even though it's a 1-for-1 deal, it's a decent deal for me because now I have 2 swordsmen, now he has none. So I don't know, it's interesting if you look at how both of us turned out after he went really early building a settler and I waited a while before I built a settler. You can see we both have we're about to have the same number of cities, and our cities are both around the same population. We have 1s and 2s mostly, but my capital has a couple extra population, and I'm happy right now. So that's why I like the staying big in your capital when you have the granary resources nearby. Because at least on a plains map, when you get more growth, you're getting hammers. So you want to be growing. So growing a city gives you more benefits than on like a grassland map. So I have my 2 swordsmen up on the city, and he moves his scout out. I think later he said that was a big mistake he made. Some nice experience points for me though at the time. Very good. And I attacked early. I got a little bit over anxious. I should have waited for the end of the turn. We'll see if I'll be able to take the city because now he's sent a swordsman. So I'm going to have to be able to click faster than him to be able to take Susa. Again, I'm not building a ton of military out of my cities right now. I'm kind of building up economy. I'm building like a watermill instead of maybe a warrior or an archer out of my city. And I get lucky, and my swordsman survives. I think it shouldn't have. So I got lucky and I was able to take the city. Good for me. And because he attacked me with a warrior, I believe. No, he attacked me with a swordsman. He attacked me with his swordsman. My swordsman survived. He attacked me with the warrior died. I got an insta-heal on the unit. I used it, and then I attacked the city, and I took it with that unit. So he's a little bit mad right now, understandably. My unit probably should have died, but I got lucky and it did not. So now I could try to hold the city, but I will not because, I don't know, I don't like puppets very much. And plus there's no real luxury nearby. It gives me some extra iron, but I don't really need the iron. And yeah, as you can see, the Egyptian swordsmen are coming by. And if I try to stay in this city, I'll be sandwiched between the Egyptian swordsmen and the Persian reinforcements. If another thing Egypt could have done is they could have just gone at York, but York is at a nice defensible spot, so it would have been tough to take with two swordsmen, but I think he could have. I don't think he realized there was no military units at all nearby York, and that's a problem you get when you're building all these economy buildings like water mills so early. It'll help my production in the long run, so in the long run hopefully my production will be pretty good, but in the short term I will have less military, which is probably something I shouldn't have been doing, because as I said, I was trying to be safe and survive, and not kind of be all chancy. I wanted to survive to Longbowmen and then just kill them, because once that happens, you're in pretty good shape. So what I want to do is I want to pull out of Susa when I can. So it's a one population city, meaning I'll be able to raise it in only one turn. So maybe at the end of a turn, once they kind of start moving in towards the city, I will raise it, and then there'll be no city, and I'll be able to pull back, hopefully. So at the end of this turn, I will raise the city. You have to annex it first, unless you're raising it right away. You have to annex and then go into the city menu and raise it. We'll see if I'll be able to get the raise going. I'll do it right now, trying to get at the end of the turn so they have less time to react and think about what they're doing, and then I pull back my units. So again, I should have had more military around York. I should have ditched the water mill and said, you know what, I need to build some more defenses. Because if they maybe had stronger military around, they would have been able to just walk up to York, which was defenseless at the time, and take it. Because again, I didn't, and even now I don't have a military for a while to that city. It's a little bit away from my capital, and it doesn't have that many hammers. It's a nice city. And that's the sheep makes a nice city, makes for a nice city. But it wouldn't have been able to build defenses quickly enough. Anyway, since I have the pyramids now, I'll be starting my road to York. Even though it'll be losing me a little bit of gold, it'll be losing me a little bit of gold initially, but once I get York grows 1 or 2 more population, it'll be even, and I'll make up for the fact that I'm losing a bit of gold by just having units to York faster, because I definitely do not want to lose York. Again, the pyramids allows you to build roads in just 1 turn, which is very nice. The first thing I did in Hastings was chop some forests, and I believe I built a monument first because I'm trying to finish Liberty quickly. Laserhawk went down honor, which means that it'll take him, he went into honor to get the Great General, which means it will take him a while to finish Liberty. At the end, I kill off the Chariot Archer, which is a nice little, that was a double move right there. At the end, I popped out and took the unit. So now that I have, I'm getting more and more secure in York. I have the road up, so I will be able to transport units to York more quickly, which is good. And I'll be getting some archers. We have some companion cavalry reinforcements, so York is looking pretty safe. Now I'm going to try to look down at my teammate and make sure he's alright. He has sent some companion cavalry up, so he'll have less military down below. He kills off my scout, and I'm considering taking him, but I kind of set it as kind of a little bit of bait, but then I realized that I didn't really have the trap set very well, you know, because I was trying to lure him in with the scout a little bit, but I wasn't able to kill off the swordsman. So maybe I should have, I shouldn't have left my scout there in that vulnerable position. I should have pulled him back, because I wasn't prepared to kill the unit which killed my scout. And I'm a little bit concerned about Laser right now, because what he's done is he doesn't have any units looking ahead, so he won't see the units before they just get onto the hills right next to his borders. So I'm trying to ask him to get a scout down into the hills so he can see ahead. The scout is obviously a nice scouting unit, because you can set up in the hills really quickly, and then once you see the units coming towards you, you can pull back and, you know, survive, and, you know, you'll be able to know the military is coming and be able to send reinforcements to wherever they're coming and other such stuff. So Reese gave me a companion cavalry right there. I had an extra warrior, so I just deleted it, because I was losing gold, I guess. I want to keep my tech up, but I don't really want to stop. I think the reason why I'm losing gold right now is because I built so many buildings in all of my cities. The water mills are kind of a major maintenance thing. They cost 2 maintenance, and then I've also built a monument and a granary in all of my cities. So that's 4 maintenance, 1 for the monument, 1 for the granary, and 2 for the water mill. So that's 4 in all of my cities, and my cities aren't big enough to cover the maintenance, so I'll lose a little bit of gold before all my cities grow up a little bit and work some more river tiles to be able to make that up. So I could research engineering right now, but I decide not to, because I will not be getting my great person finisher soonly. Anyway, I messed up with the companion. Not really messed. I made a mistake with the companion cavalry. I probably shouldn't have attacked that swordsman. I should have been quicker and just killed off the. I could have been quicker and killed off the Egyptian before he instant healed. Anyway. He'll probably be able to kill off my companion cavalry next turn. Yeah, there we go. He kills it. And so I take his the sword which killed off the companion cavalry, and I was able to dodge away from Red Rum. And I have a couple of ranged units in the area which slap the swordsman which was attacking me. And if I learned anything from my game with what's his name, Mr. Game Theory, it's that archers can be pretty powerful if you have a bunch of them kind of lumped together, because, you know, 3 archers do 3 damage, and, you know, in a couple of turns that's 6 damage, and that's almost to killing a unit. So I spammed a couple of archers, and they're bad on maintenance. They cost quite a bit of maintenance, but they're pretty powerful for defense, even attacking if you can set it up. And so I've kind of chased off most of their swordsmen. I think I can't remember if I've killed them off at kind of an efficient ratio or not, if I've lost less swords than they have, but I certainly killed off quite a few swords, and I don't think I lost too many of my own. And if you look at Saron's manufactured goods right now, they're pretty low. He's around in single digits, or not single digits, he's at 16, and I'm at like 50 something, and that's because he doesn't have very many cities right now. he needs to build more cities to be able to get more hammers. Also, my demographics look better right now because I'm in a golden age, which gives you both a boost to gives you a boost to hammers and production, a 20% boost to production. So that's good. I'm not going to build libraries in my cities because I'm not going to play a long-term game. I'm trying to focus on just getting to machinery, and libraries will not get me to machinery faster. They will just cost me gold, and because I don't need any more text really right now. I need to get engineering, and that's it. I'll be able to pop machinery with a great scientist after that. So tech won't help me, and the maintenance will hurt me more than the tech helps me, in other words. So I'm going to build some barracks so I can get some veteran longbowmen out. That's always nice. And I looked at army numbers and I realized he has a much smaller army than me. I killed off a lot of his swordsmen. So I'm going to try to take Susa again. I have the catapult, which will do some nice damage on the city. If you can get a catapult set up on a city for a couple of turns, you'll probably be able to take it. Or a low strength city at least. 10 strength like this city. And I have a couple of swordsmen protecting it. So hopefully I will be able to take Susa. So I'm building some coliseums to manage my happiness. I was about to grow out of my happiness, but so I preemptively build some coliseums, which is very nice. Oh, and I mess up that move there. I was not able to complete it before the turn ended, so I won't be able to fortify this turn, which is actually kind of bad against catapults because they do a decent amount of damage. I guess it actually doesn't matter because he ended up bombarding my catapult, but it's good to be fortified at the beginning of the turn. Anyway, I'm checking how long to see before I finish Liberty, because that's when I will get my great scientist and will use it to get machinery. So right now I don't have that much gold. You need 115 gold to upgrade an archer into a crossbowman, and currently I'm making a ton of gold right now because I'm in a golden age. However, once that golden age ends, I will be around neutral or deficit in gold, so I'll only be able to make one upgrade at best right now. And I'm starting to build a road towards the Persian, towards Red Rum, just so I can move units more quickly. We'll see. I have that injured archer on the hill, and hopefully if he tries to kill it off, I will be able to do some nice damage on him. I have 2 archers in the area, plus a city bombard, and it'll do him 1 damage to be able to kill the archer. So hopefully that will kill him off. And I got another bombard in on him with another unit. So now if he tried to kill it, he'd be killed off. So that's very good. And at this point I took the city again. And I just raise it right away because I don't want it to mess with my happiness. Or I have decent happiness, but I just don't like that city at all. I already have the luxury nearby, and I don't know. Actually, I'm not quite sure why I raised that city at this point. Maybe I didn't want to risk... I don't know. I think I should have kept it. I think I should keep it. Yeah, see, I stop. And at this point it's annexed, so I should have just had puppeted it right away. Because why should I raise it? I have happiness. He's not going to take it back, at least right now, and if he does, I'd be able to annex and raise later. So... You know, why did I do that? I don't know. Just kind of a mistake, I guess. And I'll be continuing my road with my worker. Or not. I guess I won't be continuing my road. Again, I'll hold Susa until until he starts threatening it again, then I'll just pull out and raise again. And currently Laser doesn't have that much military. I would prefer it if he had a bit more, because again, we're trying to be conservative until we get to metallurgy. So Cerrone gets another city down with Elephantine. Personally, I don't really like the city spot which he put it in, because it doesn't have any hammers nearby. It has a couple of forests, but there's no hills, and hills are what get you real hammers in small cities. Founding on a hill, working a hill, gets you the 4 hammers, versus just founding on an open terrain and then working a forest only gives you 2. And in fact, maybe I'd be able to take Elephantine. We'll see how that works out. I'm just checking how much strategic resources each player has, to see. It gives you a kind of general estimate on how big their army is, because every player has at least 6 iron. You can generally estimate that a player has 6 iron. Well, I could have bombarded him the turn earlier to kill it off, but I didn't. So anyway, I killed him off that turn and lost an archer. But archer for swordsman is a good deal, because the archer only costs 26 hammers and the swordsman costs 50 hammers. So he lost hammers in that deal, which is good for me. And now he doesn't have any units defending Elephantine, I believe. But I don't have many units myself, so I'm not going to push the city right now. Especially when I'm just so close to getting machinery and attacking. I'll be getting my Liberty finisher in 4 turns or something. Maybe I'll be raising at the end of this turn, I'm not quite sure. I guess I waited. Let's see, now I'll bombard and then I'll raise the city. And you can see, now that I've ended my golden age, I'm losing a significant amount of gold. Yeah, and I guess I will try to take Elephantine. Again, this is, I believe it was a mistake to try to take Elephantine at this point. As you can see, the Red Rum has built a decent army around Susa, with, there's a decent army around Susa. And I don't want to overextend myself, again, when I'm so close to getting, machinery. So anyway, I've raised Susa twice now, or at least a city at that spot. And I realize a large mistake that I've been making this whole game is that I haven't founded a city on the marble. Again, you want to be able to found a city on every unique luxury on the map, at least. And I hadn't done that yet, which was bad. So we'll see if I'll be able to take Elephantine with those units, but I think at this point I might realize that he actually has a decent army coming at me, and I only have a couple of swordsmen up above, so I shouldn't be stretching myself like that. Anyway, I'm pulling back out of all my other cities. Don't bombard the city, you gotta pull back. I'm just yelling at myself because, again, if these were better they're decent players, but if they were playing better this game, they'd have a really large army right now and would be pressing me. I'm trying to find a safe tile for my Great General. Obviously I don't want my Great General to be killed off just before I get longbows. And if he double moved, I believe he might be able to take it. We'll see if I'll be able to pull out from Elephantine successfully. It looks like for the most part I was able to get out. That one swordsman is trapped, and maybe that archer will be able to be killed off by... But, I mean, the sword that's inside the city right now is pretty injured, so it might be able to do it next turn, but not, hopefully not this turn. Anyway, I'm thinking about where to found the city, and I decided I might as well just plop it on the luxury. Gets me a couple more tiles, a couple more forests to chop, and I'll be building a monument right away. That might have actually slowed down my finish of Liberty a couple of turns. I might have been, maybe I should have thought about that. I don't think it, at most though, it only got worse by about a turn. He might try to take my Great General next turn with that swordsman, so I'm gonna have to try to move it back really quickly. Yeah, and there I get lucky. I'll hopefully be able to kill off that swordsman too. I took kind of a chance with my archer down below Elephantine. What I did was I just made a gamble that maybe I would be able to do 2 damage on the swordsman down below Elephantine and kill it off, but I was not able to do that. Just improving tiles. I'm building some trading posts because I don't really want my capital to be growing that much right now. I'm more looking for gold, so I can just not start losing a bucket load of gold. And if I look at the pikemen, I could kill the pikemen off pretty easily because I have the open terrain promotion and a great general nearby. And the pikeman isn't that strong to start with. So at the end of the turn, I kill that guy off. And as you can see, I lost a swordsman and an archer because I tried to attack Elephantine. I should have just held back. But even after my golden age has ended and kind of the temporary boost of production has gone down, I'm still leading in demographics, which is very good. I'm also leading in score, but that isn't necessarily going to indicate who's kind of ahead. Demographics is a better gauge. I'm going to be silly again and kind of bombard the swordsman because I'm pretty sure he won't try to attack it. So I finished Liberty. Again, as you can see, I've lost a bunch of gold, so I won't be able to upgrade any archers into Longbowmen, so I didn't bother building any archers to upgrade. I have a couple of archers just because I had them. I kind of make a mistake right here. I switched to the Longbowmen, and I lose the hammers that were stored for the... oh, actually, I don't quite do it yet. But I switch to the Longbowmen, and I lose the hammers which were stored for the archer. So, that was bad. Because when you discover the new tech... when you discover the new tech, the obsolete unit, if you're building a unit which is obsoleted by that tech, so I was building an archer, and you can't build archers after you get machinery, the hammers that you're building, like the archer, building for the archer, switch into the new unit, meaning the Longbowmen. And so I was trying to speed that up a little bit in that city, but unfortunately I believe I lost those hammers, so I shouldn't have switched. I should have just let the turn roll over. The city wouldn't have finished an archer, it would have just popped right over to a Longbowman. So I'm planning to kill off a couple of Persian units right now. I'm thinking the guy on the deer right now, I'll be able to get a nice like 20 or 30% flanking bonus on him, and then I'll be able to, and maybe a catapult bombard into, and then I will attack him. Can't quite finish him off, so I'm gonna have to be ready to take out the catapult next turn. Except that he puts a zone of control in the way, so that makes it tough. Turn rolls over. He pulls back more. I push forward more. He killed off one of my swordsmen with a bombard. and killed off a, a swordsman there. I'm debating whether I want to go up and take the city or if I want to kind of press down below and kill off their military. And I guess I'll be getting longbows shortly, which will be able to kill off the city pretty easily, so I might as well just kill off their military now. I'll kind of suicide my one of my swordsmen up into their chariot archer. So I'll be able to kill off both the chariot archers, but then they kill it off with the city. And I kill off the fortified swordsman on the hill, which is good. And so right now I've pretty much crushed their entire military. We'll see if I'll be able to kill off the catapult by Elephantine next turn. And Laserhawk has done a decent job synchronizing with my attack, and is now starting to push on Egypt. He's, since I believe I've killed off most of the Egyptian military, or he just doesn't have much anymore. He'll probably be able to take a city, maybe he'll be able to get to the capital. Oh, and I just realized there was Cerro de Potosi down there, which nobody founded on, which I think is a little bit silly. And the insta-heal there allowed me to go a little bit further. If I hadn't had... Again, if you're trying to run away from a unit, make sure you run away. Like, don't just go one tile away when the guy can move 2 tiles, like he did right there. He was just... it's a little bit of... That was a mistake by him. Because he obviously got the move first, because I had the insta-heal, which slowed me down. And if he would have just moved 2 tiles, he would have been safe. But because he didn't, I was able to kill off the catapult. And I don't know, why did I bombard the city with that archer there? I probably should not be. Anyway, I will continue to bombard Susa. I get my Longbowmen in, and the road allows me to bombard a turn earlier. It allows me to get in position and fire quickly. So although it's losing me some gold, I believe it is well worth it. And I'm thinking about building another road so that I can move units in even more quickly. And there we go. Laserhawk is able to take the Egyptian city. So now Cerrone has very few cities. He has, the one little city he planted, which I'm kind of outside right now, and he has his capital and maybe one other city. He's a great engineer, probably from finishing Liberty. And I'm considering whether I want to really move my swordsman in, or if I should just wait for it to bombard. And so I end up moving him in. But then he puts a crossbowman in, which is, the crossbowman is a pretty strong unit. Outside of, even without the range promotion that the longbowman has. And since my archer has double rough terrain promotion, it was able to do 4 damage on that swordsman as it came out of the city. So that's semi-ridiculous, considering you kind of forget how strong archers can be. So we'll see if I'll be able to take Susa next turn. If I get lucky and get a couple clicks in. Yeah, I guess against a good player I probably wouldn't be able to get those clicks in. And yeah, he does a pretty good job of both killing off both of my swordsmen nearby the city. Again, my with my swordsman, which was at 1 strength, I would have only attacked the city then if the city was at 1 strength, because with a 1 strength unit versus a 1 strength city, you almost always, the unit, I'm not sure if it's like an always wins, or if it's like 99% of the time, but like, in my experience, 1 health point unit versus 1 health point city, the unit will always win. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have like a city at 1 health point and you're worried about attacking with a 1 health point unit, just do it. Even if it's like a 50 strength city against your, 4 strength scout, do it. Oh, and I mess up right there because I was trying to move in at the end of the turn and then attack the next, but instead he's able to move in an extra crossbowman and kill off the unit. I have to pull back my catapult because I don't want it to get killed off. I'm moving that sword across over the river, so I'll be able to attack without the 20% penalty. And so now I have superior production, and because you can see that in demographics. And so once the Longbowmen start really kicking in, there won't be much they'll be able to do. So we'll see if Laser will be able to do anything on Thebes, if he can get lucky with that. And I get really lucky myself right there. I was able to get a click in, a bombard from the Longbowmen, and a click from an attack from the swordsman before he was able to bombard me, because any bombardment at all and my unit would have died. Anyway, I've weakened Elephantine. I'll be able to take it next turn. And, the Longbowmen are starting to pour out of my cities very nicely. Well, hopefully he'll have a nice road for me to move my units on. So at this point, Red Rum kind of knows that he's going to lose, so he's starting to talk. I do it too. I talk a lot when I'm losing. It's an interesting phenomena. Although it will be tough for Red Rum to be able to take Thebes with the crossbowmen in the city, because again, the crossbowmen decent unit. So I had a horseman unit which would have taken the city in next turn if I had failed to get that move in, because the problem with the swordsman is that I had to move and then move in 1 turn and attack the next, and with the horsemen I would have been able to move in all in 1 turn away from outside their range and just take the city. Because again, anything can defeat the 1 health point city, even the horseman, which has the 33% combat penalty against cities. And I get an extra great general. I check to see if my teammate needs it, and he says he doesn't need it, so I just burn him on I use him on a golden age, which is always nice. And he's very close to taking Thebes, but doesn't look like he'll be able to do it with all those reinforcements coming in. So too bad for him, I guess. Anyway, I'm being somewhat cautious moving my units. I'll kind of be moving him. I could be a lot more cautious. I believe I'm being less cautious than I would because I see he has a small military, and he has a couple of units down by Thebes. I mean, again, if he wanted to defend, he'd probably be trying to defend Susa. I've tried to defend Susa more. So anyway, I'll be scouting around with my Longbowmen, and I chance upon a nice little thing. I find Ekta Bana, which is very good. I find it's good that I found Ekta Bana because the city, normally Longbowmen can only see 2 tiles away, so they can't see as far as their range, so you need other units in front to see. But because Ekta Bana was on a hill, I was able to see it 3 tiles away, so I was able to bombard the city without them being able to bombard me. A very good thing. Anyway, we had a little reload there, and so I will continue working on Ektabana, and I will try to take the city with the super range of the Longbowmen. Pretty ridiculous unit, if you ask me. Anyway, looks like Laserhawk's army has pretty much been killed off. Does not look like he will not be able to take Thebes, unfortunately. Unlucky for him. And that means that a lot of the military from around Thebes will be coming back around to help the other capital. Help Persepolis. And again, my demographics are pretty good. Again, I've been focusing quite a bit on you know, economy focus. And they kill off my horseman right there, which makes me a little bit sad, but oh, and they get a knight in. And the knight is kind of the semi-counter unit to the crossbowmen, as much as there is until you get to lancers, which is really actually a reasonable counter unit to the longbowmen. But yeah, as you can see, I just killed it off pretty quickly, because if it were like even numbers of knights versus even numbers of longbowmen, it might be a fair fight, but with me just having so many longbowmen, there's not much you can do. I'll be getting civil service for maybe some pikemen against the knights. And again, you can see the stats of the crossbowmen I'm fighting and the longbowmen are exactly the same. It's just, or the stats aren't the same. Their combat, you know, values are exactly the same. The only difference is that my units have the extra range, and I have more of them. The extra range just allows me to have more units firing on him at once, and so it just kind of becomes overpowering. So I was thinking about maybe I'd be able to attack Thebes if he bombarded, you know, with a catapult twice, and then I could sneak in. I'm just looking it up now. A knight costs 80 hammers, and a crossbowman, which is the same hammer cost as a this is the same hammer cost as a longbowman. I was looking that up just to see, you know, what's an even trade with hammers. And yeah, as you can see right there, I was just able to kill off the crossbowman, but that's more of a function of the fact that I just have so many more units than he does. Anyway, I'm pushing my units forwards. At this point, it's kind of over for Red Rum, unless he has like an army of like 7 knights hiding. Anyway, I'm gonna count how many longbowmen I have. I have 10, and so, you know, Red Rum was pretty close on that guess. I'm gonna keep on bombarding Ekbatana, whatever that city's called. Again, at this point, the road is helping me a lot more than it is him, because it just allows me to pour in all my longbowman units. And once I get my horseman out, I will be able to just slide up and take Ekbakta, whatever it's called. So now I'm going to start focusing on the capital. as you can see, I've completed the road to Susa, so just my Longbowmen are transported super quickly to the front, and I can just have a ton of them. So even if he kills off one, I can just move more in, bombard, kill off, and replace that spot. And since Laser had most of his army taken over, he's going to start raising the city. At the end of this turn, I will move in and onto the horse tile, so I will be able to pillage it. And I'm not sure why the catapult moved there. That's my bad. I didn't want that. Now that the horses are pillaged, I will be able to kill off his couple of knights with greater ease. Yeah, as you can see, I had a couple of knights kind of stored up, but once the horse units are pillaged, they're not that effective because they get the 50% strategic resource penalty. And I pillaged the road there just for the heck of it, so it's a little bit harder for him to reach my units, hopefully. And at this point, they called GG. Game's over. I don't know why I built a scout. I guess for the extra sight, so I'd be able to see where the Longbowmen were shooting without having a unit in harm's way. And next turn I will be able to take that city. So anyway, England is really strong. I would advise banning them in team games. In duels, there's other stronger civs, I think. I don't know. Duels are often, I don't know, they're still pretty strong in duels. But in team games, you definitely want to ban them. If you're playing against England, the unit to counter them, the Longbowman, is the Lancer, which comes way later. So, yeah, you'd have to do well. And besides, my manufactured goods were greater than his anyway. So, even if, as he said right there, even if they weren't longbows, if they were just, crossbows, the game would probably be over because I just have more manufactured goods right now. Because I was building lots of, water mills and stuff, which is water mills in all of my cities and, granaries and stuff instead of building military or whatever they were building. Anyway, the game's pretty much over. We'll see if I recorded me taking Persepolis. Because again, you can just see how many units I'm able to line up on the city. It just, if you think about it, just expanding the radius of what you can bombard a city from 2 to 3, it just allows so many more tiles you can put units on, and so they just kind of become ridiculous. Anyway, game's pretty much over. I took one of the capitals. We almost took the other one, but Laserhawk just didn't quite have enough to do it. What do you learn from this video? I should have been less aggressive with, like, when I was trying to attack Susa and Ektavan at the same time, and I knew he had more military coming. I lost some swords because of that. I could have been a little bit more defensive with building defensive military units. And then just have slightly less manufactured goods, but just risk a little bit less. We're talking about what he should have banned, and actually, come to think of it, he should have banned maybe China, or not banned China, or not banned Russia. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys.